And good evening. I'm political editor Dennis Welch. This is Politics Unplugged. Last week, Arizona State University leaders announced a self-imposed one-year bowl ban for its football team. The school has been mired in controversy over alleged recruiting violations during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Senator T.J. Shope is calling for the Arizona Board of Regents to investigate ASU's athletic department, and he joins me now today to talk about this, about what prompted all of this. Why is a state senator getting involved in sports?
Well, you know what, Dennis, first off, thanks for having me today. I don't know if people know this, but state senators enjoy football too.
What?
But the reality is what prompts this is that several months ago, after former coach Herman Edwards is fired from the university, there's a $4.4 million buyout agreement reached between the athletic program and Coach Edwards. Flash forward to just this past week. It is announced that the athletics director, Ray Anderson, is self-imposing a bowl ban on Arizona State University football for this current season. And obviously that raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's wrong with that? I mean, they self-impose a ban. So, but why are you upset about this?
First off, the NCAA and the most recent investigations of the University of Tennessee and their violations with recruiting and such admitted that they had been essentially wrong over the last several decades of punishing students that had nothing to do with pre violations from a different coaching administration, different players, things like that. So ASU is really actually behind in that frame of thinking. Secondly, what happened in the intervening months where ASU felt it was fine to go ahead and give a coach a $4.5 million buyout or exercise a clause of that, and then flash forward to just this past week where all of a sudden the infractions are severe enough that you're going to go ahead and impose a ban on playing in the postseason.
So why did you take the course of like getting involved in sending a message to, I believe it was Fred Duvall, who is on the Board of Regents?
Yeah, so Chairman Duvall of the Board of Regents, we got the letter sent to him. And I'll tell you, I'll be very honest with you, because I think that this is just another in the missteps and I think in the failures of administration of the athletic department over the last handful of years. And it doesn't seem that the administration levels above him, President Crow, others, seem to be taking any of those issues seriously. So I decided, and after consulting with our attorneys, that the Constitution of the state of Arizona and Arizona statute does allow the Arizona Board of Regents to take action in this kind of thing.
Have you heard back from Duvall yet since you sent that?
I have not heard back, but granted, in fairness to the chairman, that letter was sent in the middle of the week. Here we are on Sunday, and obviously still, hopefully have a holiday weekend.
Yeah, and you addressed this a little bit in your letter. It doesn't seem like, and you just mentioned again, you don't have a lot of confidence in President Crow to handle this situation.
I have a lot of confidence in the way that President Crow has handled the university academically. I think I would lie up here with you to say that it's been a failure. It has been a tremendous success, Arizona State University, on the academic side. Athletically, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, has been a disaster. And I think that that's why people, whether they're in the ASU donor community, booster community, and others, just general fans and alums, have reached out to elected officials because they feel like they have nowhere else to go at this point.
And obviously you're an alum, you're a fan of the football team and whatnot, so you have followed all of this. From what you've seen, I mean, do you think that Ray Anderson should have been fired for cause or should be fired for cause?
Well, I believe that if you're going to impose a ban on your postseason months later, and I think the most disgusting thing about the whole situation is that you wait until after April, when over half of this team that's assembled currently could have transferred to another university to play out the rest of their career and potentially achieve that goal of being in the postseason. Yeah. So that's gone. So you've basically shut the door for those kids. That to me is really disastrous. And yes, absolutely, should have been fired for cause at the time. The recruiting violations that were being discussed at the time, I believe, warranted it. We didn't do that, hence why I felt the need to go to the chair of the Board of Regents instead of the president.
Well, and what happens, what if you don't hear back from Duvall? Is there more of a role in this for the state legislature for you? What more could you do?
I don't know. That's a great question. We're trying to take this step by step, as I usually do on any of these issues that come before me. I am concerned about that, don't get me wrong. However, I have been energized, and I think there's been an energy that's in both directions between the greater ASU alumni community. I spoke to several folks last week at the game before Southern Utah, and they're really fired up about this. I mean, you had mobile billboards circling the stadium, for goodness sake, paid for by a GoFundMe, and so I think that it's palpable. It's something I haven't seen in the time that I've been following the athletic team, it's something that needs to really be looked at.
And obviously, you think because it's a public institution, there's public money involved in this. You're angry that the athletic department did this current crew that came into ASU this year a disservice by stripping them of any hope of playing in a bowl ban this year. Right,
and I think that's obviously, and you hit on it right there. The $4.5 million, for example. I think it needs to be warranted. The public needs to know exactly where that came from. Students pay fees to the athletic department in order to go to a game, for example. So were those student fees potentially used in part of this?
All right, and final question here. I know you're a big fan. You went to the game the other night. Congratulations to ASU for the first win in the new era here. Did you come back after the 2.5 hour break?
I am, it's funny.
I was delayed because of weather.
I looked at the radar about 10 minutes in real time before halftime hit, and that's when the haboob basically was coming in. I hightailed it to my vehicle and watched the rest of it from the couch. But I can say that at the game, I was very happy to hear from and a lot of good people who are excited about what we were doing.
All right. Thanks a lot for joining us here today.